Welcome, everyone, and good evening. I am Mystic Asian here, joined by Photography Raptor, and we will be bringing you the first set of games in the Risen Esports tournament. We have our very own Redefy Esports team going up against Winthrop University here tonight, and it should be an exciting best of three. Very excited to see these teams duke it out. It's actually the first time I'll be watching. I actually get to watch both of these teams play. Really excited to see our own team break it out here tonight. So yeah, definitely glad you guys are all here joining with us. We're excited to get these games underway here as we get into pro draft. We do see these bands coming out. Photographer Raptor, what are your thoughts here coming into this game? I know we both haven't really seen too many too many things from these games aside from just kind of their champion picks and stuff like that. What do you think they're bringing to the table?
Yeah, so just taking a look across bands and what's been picked right now, it seems like it's a solid choice of targeting champions that I assume the other team plays that are also very strong power picks. Hecarim and Misfortune, I know especially, are both strong in their respective roles. In the Heimer, I'm guessing is just extremely targeted. With the Redefy team deciding to ban Pantheon Akali and Aatrox, all three champions are quite strong right now, especially on those who know to utilize them. Pantheon especially I've seen can really, really take over games. Um, but then we see the Graves Kaisa from Redefy answered by Samira Galio. And that Galio could be a flex as well as the Olaf. So I am interested to see what Winthrop is thinking with that. But Samira is a very difficult champion to navigate and competitive. I think if you are gonna pick it, it started off as what you're kind of looking for because Samira is great into teams with low CC that can't really stop her, but you pick that right into opening up for in R3 Leona. And I mean, Leona can just absolutely shut down Samira. Samira starts going in, and Leona just cues and says nope,
Oh
and then the
yeah.
whole team can focus her, and she just dies instantly.
Yep.
So we'll have to see how the AD carry for Winthrop can kind of play this one out. It's definitely going to be a much more difficult game to navigate, especially with how strong Kaisa is right now. Kaisa is, in my opinion, and I think she is the strongest AD carry at the moment. After the nerfs to Jhin and things like that came through, I think she's just absolutely outrageous right now. Even after the Runeance change, she can still build the pickaxe for a level 8-9 Q evolve, straight into Runeance for E evolve, and it just feels so good.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just watching a lot of the games that are being played now. I mean, you see a Kaisa pretty much in every single
Hmm.
game. If she's not picked, if she's not banned. So yeah, definitely seeing that come out here tonight. I'm not definitely not surprised to see that being broken out. And yeah, especially seeing the Samir pick early, having the Leona go into that. Pretty much there's the one champion that can just stop her from pulling out the combos and everything. So
Yep.
we're going to be seeing Leona try and definitely maybe save the CC for when she's trying for when Samir is trying to go in. But seeing the picks come out, right, like Olaf and Galio. Yeah, you mentioned definitely both being flexes. The only thing I could see is right, like you have the Galio ult for the knockup for Samira. I mean, yeah, you have the taunt for the range, but since the Samira change, right, it's not going to knock the other person up with just the taunt. You have to get that knockup going through. So seeing if that is, I'm thinking it's a Galio support, just seeing that Oriana pick coming out. I don't think Galio is going to go mid. So seeing the Galio,
I'm not into Zoe now.
yeah, seeing the support, yeah, I'm kind of interested to see how that's going to go.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know how I feel about that Zoe pick. Honestly, I think when you're already showing something like Samira, you want more sources of easy free CC that
mhm.
things like big team fight CC that'll really easily lock her down.
There you go. With the
Um,
Ornn, you got a little bit of it coming out there.
and even with when you're talking about knockups, it's not something that Samira necessarily needs. I think
True.
you as long as you're still getting that CC for her to get in range and be able to set her up to follow anything up, you're doing fine. That's the big, more important part of her passive. Yes, the knockup is very strong when you can get that off, and it's massive for small engagements that make trading much easier, but you don't necessarily need it to all in. And what I think they've done is done a very good job of setting up the front wave for Samira, because if you can set something up for Samira to be able to go in safely, then you're kind of fine, because as long as the enemy CC'd or, being focusing on a front line, they're using their cooldowns and it won't be there for Samira. But once she goes in, then it's just free cleanups. But then I really liked actually what they did there at the end. They picked Cho'Gath into it, and I think the Cho'Gath Ornn matchup is definitely Cho'Gath favored from what I've seen. And also he's got that big AoE silence, so
Silence.
he can
Yep.
just hold that ability because you don't necessarily need it for a lot of damage or on the front line. You don't really care
Yeah,
about
you're not really using that to be the
silencing,
damage.
yeah,
Exactly.
Galio or whatever. So the moment Samira comes anywhere near a fight, you let her E in, and then you just silence her, and then it's really easy to take her down. So I do like that draft adaptation, and you already know that Winthrop is going to be coming into you with how they're drafting. They have to go forward, so you don't necessarily need a lot of guaranteed engage. So I really like Cho'Gath as an answer here to help, just because Cho'Gath does really well when people are coming to him because he doesn't necessarily have the most reliable engage. So he's great as
Yeah.
follow up or as counter engage. And I really like him as that big frontline wall that can do a lot for the team while Zoe's peppering in and Kais is all about and Leona's you have some if you need it, and then Leona's there.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think seeing the beefy like Cho'Gath can be huge. But definitely depending on how long the game goes, he can be a huge shield or big front line
Hmm.
for Redefy. I mean, Graves too, putting down the damage, but he's also beefy and bruisery, so he's going to be a little bit hard to take down for sure. And then yeah, Zoe's in there, long range attacks coming through. You got the sleep, Leo stun, and Kais. I mean, you have a lot of kind of, I think, adaptability or versatility for how they can take fights. I think Winthrop is looking more for those big kind of like wombo combos, I think, right? You're looking for the Ornn ult maybe to start it off, Orianna ult too for multi CC. Easy for Samir to get in there, easy for Galio to kind of get in there. I think if you're looking at
Well,
I think if you're looking at like kind of wombo engages or how easy it is to pull off, I think Winthrop might have it there, but I think Redefy has the like they get to choose more freely of when they get to go in.
Um, the only thing with that is you're really reliant on I think Olaf being in the middle of that and being able to run in. You because Ornn and Gallium aren't going to be Winthrop's primary sources of engage. It's Olaf just pressing R and getting in the middle because Cho'Gath can't stop that, Leona can't stop that. The whole goal is for Olaf to just get in the middle, have his gore drinker, not be able to die, and then Galio follows up on it, and then Ornn follows up on it, and maybe the Ornarf definitely comes in first as a way to help the Olaf get there. But that I wouldn't necessarily look at that as like their main source of team fight, because as long as Olaf has the ability to get in the middle of the fight, that's the kind of setup they want. And then for the side of Redefy, you're kind of okay with that because you have Graves who can kite around at the back of it, Kaisa who can ult wherever she needs to get herself out of danger or to follow up on anything that needs to be followed up on. Zoe, who's not going to be anywhere near that, and Shogath and Leona, who should be able to roughly survive through that. So I think as long as Redefy is positioning correctly into Winthrop's engages, they should be able to pull through fights, but I do think that the difficulty of execution is a bit more on their side. They do have to be sure they're positioned correctly, because if they're not, there's so much big AoE CC for the side of Winthrop that it's very easy for them to get caught in one of those abilities and just die instantly off of it, because they're really looking at a few sources of damage here. And as long as those damage sources are staying safe and able to put out damage, I think they should be fine.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the side of Winthrop. I'm looking for some big Oriana ults. I feel like those get sneaked into team fights a lot. Really depending on how the ball placement gets. So I don't know. I've just seen Ori ults kind of change the momentum of a team fight almost, yeah, pretty much instantaneously. So yeah, definitely Redefy looking to be positioned well during these fights. Look for the open opportunities. Excuse me. So that they can get in and pull off the execution like they need to. I mean, yeah, they're looking, definitely for the Zoe sleep snipes.
Hmm.
She's going to be kind of the long range artillery. I feel like, definitely trying to play that safe, but still be able to put out the damage. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you're looking for Olaf to go in, cause chaos, get in there, And yeah, I'm definitely, looking to see if Samira can get in, stack her passive up, and then be able to pop that ult off during the team fight. Because I feel like if she can't get her ult off or can't stack it up, man, it's not going to work out in that team.
Yeah, I mean, they are a little reliant on that. You do have some fine damage out of Olav, and same with Samira, but really, it I would just look at how Redefy is positioning. What they need to do is get to objectives first, more so than anything, because if they're at a point where they have to walk into an engage, that's not the best for them. And so I think I'm really excited to see how Fizzwag Pie Swag, sorry,
Nice swag.
pronunciation, is
Swag.
going to move around the map and be able to set his team up to get to these objectives and when they'll be able to get there, because I think that will determine a lot of how the fights play out.
Yo, for sure. I mean, definitely. I mean, if you're looking at the type, right? I feel like Redefy is looking for the definitely the pick comp, right? Like they're looking to get either someone singled out, someone knocked up, someone kind of just already out of position to be able to get in there. So I definitely don't think that they're going to be wanting to look for the engage or walking into the engages. They'll be the ones trying to set that up. And yeah, with the 3 minute game timer countdown, we are going to be hitting load screen here and should be on the Rift here shortly and get this game started for game number 1 here tonight. Everyone in chat, love seeing you guys here. Love seeing you guys give shout outs. So as we get this team or as we get this game underway, definitely give shout outs to your favorite team, favorite players. We love seeing the interaction with you guys. With the community. So looks like we have a pause right here off the bat. I'm not still sure if the loading screen bug is still a thing, but wonder if someone had trouble connecting. But we will.
Yeah, not sure on the pause, but we'll just we can keep talking through some win conditions here, because I think for Winthrop, we're really going to be looking for how Olaf can be playing through bot lane. Getting that Samira rolling is massive for this team.
Oh,
If they're
100%.
Yeah, so I mean, if Samira ever starts falling behind, I get really, really worried for Winthrop and their ability to win the game, because they've kind of all in on the two main late game damage source through Orianna and Samira. And yes, if Orianna is getting fed, then she'll be in a good place to kind of help carry the game with the behind Samira, but it's still really hard for them at that point. So it's very reliant on Samira being able to do enough damage in that follow up. Um, Whereas Redefy has a bit more flexible of a win condition, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's better or worse. It just means that you kind of have other options. If one person starts falling behind, you can kind of pick up the slack elsewhere. Whereas I mean, and that's also helpful for Redefy, because then they know this team is needing to play through bot. So let's
Mhm.
play safe bot. We don't even necessarily need to play weak side, but let's just make sure that bot's warded up. We always know when something's coming, and that way we can always not necessarily have to play suddenly reactive, but just understand when we need to back off and when we need to respect all of the pressure that they should be put under. And I think they can make it through that lane just fine.
Yeah, definitely. I think vision's going to be key. Right. Jungler's going to have a big impact in this game for sure, just to get the lanes going. It'll be interesting to see what lane, gets focused here, what side. Yeah, pretty normal start we saw there. Yeah, definitely not looking for any engages. I thought maybe we might see something with the Leo, but yeah, not really much to follow up there. So pretty normal start here. Yeah, I'm actually super curious, yeah, to see kind of how this starts off. We do get the early taunt onto Leo, some big chunk damage going down, but not gonna be super aggressive. But yeah, definitely eyes are on Graves and Olaf, trying to see them go through the jungle, looking for Olaf, right? Because to come bot is definitely what I'm definitely agreeing with that. Just because, yeah, if Samir gets behind, it's going to be a very hard climb up that hill to get back into the game and be relevant. So, yeah, looking to see pathings here.
Yeah, and just looking at early pathing, I mean, just on that point, we see Olaf having bot, which is I think about expected. Even though their bot lane is hard shoving, there's still the opportunity for them to try to to try to crash that and bounce it back. Probably not in time for a gank, but at the very least in time to secure that bot scuttle crab, which will only just secure more pressure for their bot lane. And so even though that's not as big of a win as some kind of a gank, it's still just what you want because you want Samir Galio to feel safe, to feel like they can play all the way up to the tower like this, because they'll definitely be stuck there. But I like the freeze that's being set up, and we'll just have to kind of see how long they can hold that because if they are able to kind of hold that freeze right outside their tower, it does really mitigate any chance of them getting engaged on.
Yeah, definitely looking to play safe. Knowing right if they definitely got the information out. If they're knowing that they're pushed up, has the risk scuttle. We do see Olaf taking the river crab right now, and so with that vision there, them playing safe, kind of knowing maybe that they don't have the type of, I guess, the position or the aggression really to be able to kind of withstand a gank or anything like that. Yeah, I'm thinking that they're going to play safe, try and hold that freeze. Looks like it already got broken a little bit, but
Yeah, it definitely bounced back, but it's pushing back towards them. Kind of, it's this is kind of what I'm expecting to see how the bot lane plays out for a
ooh,
long time until we see some kind of jungle pressure. Cleanse burn from Orianna is really big that early in the game. It is pretty easy for her to get away from great potential future Graves ganks just because of phase rush. He doesn't have enough lockdown to where it's not hard for her to proc that and just run on out. But another bubble could be absolutely huge for mid lane.
yeah, definitely having that cooldown already burnt. Especially after some good damage going down. Looks like we do see Zoe take the B back. Tries to make it back to lane, but yeah, definitely has the advantage there. Another sleep bubble could be first blood looking to go out to that mid lane. So we'll see here. Looks like bot lane, kind of Leo was chunked down there a little bit. Looks like she's regaining health. Took a little bit of damage there, but still looking strong down there. Still can pretty much hold their ground. Just looking to see how long they can hold that ground and see when the power change shifts. We do see Zoe's trying to play a little bit aggressive there. Ori burning through her mana does not have a lot left to really kind of go all out there. So she'll have to back off. Looks like
Yeah,
he will take it
and
back.
even though Zoe's going for some very aggressive trading, there is a bit of a CS deficit that's built up. It's kind of neutralized off of that huge wave, but it could start to grow. Same with bot lane. I think it's yes, the deficit is small right now, but in these kind of lanes and those situations, especially bot lane, you do just kind of slowly see that come down. And then we also saw all of just use dragon pressure to solo the first dragon. And a mountain drake, percent resistances doesn't really net you a ton,
Oh, we
but
do see
maybe he's
here
getting caught here.
pinch here on Olaf, and that is three members of Redefy coming in on the Olaf. Graves will end up getting the kill, and they're just going to back out on that. So even though Olaf is able to get dragged, Redefy answers with a quick pick afterward, and that is Olaf going to be going down. First blood goes over to Redefy, and that is the start of an early lead.
Yeah, so they catch him just kind of being a bit slow off the Drake, and that kill going over to Graves is
Oh man,
really big.
flash
Ooh,
taunt, having to Kaisa burn her flash to get out of that. Little bit of aggression coming out of that Gallia there, but it's not quite enough. But both flashes now are down, so we might see some more aggressive plays trying to go in on that Kaisa.
yeah, and he doesn't have a Hex Flash. I don't think that's something Gallia really takes. So it's definitely good to have that ability out because any kind of flash engage from him later on can definitely be scary. So good job from RD Dangle to just have the reaction time to get out of that. You kind of expect to see that at this level of play. So good to see that he's holding up to the standards that he should be holding up to. And in the first week of this kind of tournament, that's the kind of thing you like to see.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, both teams, I just from their play definitely seems confident here. We
Oh.
do see an Oriole going off onto the Zoe here mid lane. Zoe getting dangerously low. Olaf is there for the chase to go out. Zoe will flash to get out of that. Very, very low on health, but does make it out. Olaf will look to invade the jungle there on the Graves. You might see Graves. Yeah, just save the lane there for Zoe. But yeah, see a little bit of engagement going out. And I think, yeah, that was Zoe's actual flash.
Yeah, it was, and he did a very good job of holding his flash right up until he could get over the wall, hop that corner under his turret. That was really what allowed him to kind of keep walking out.
Oh, here we go. TP play down bot. It looked like it was going to be a dive from the Ori, but the TP play comes immediately from top of Potamus, and he will be there to knock up the Galio. Does not look like there's going to be much follow-up there, but that TP did instantly deter that tower dive. And yeah, they can live for another day. It looked like, too, that might have been a good call for Winthrop because they knew Kai'Sa's flash was down, but having
that's a great that's a great dive call and solid roam timing from the Orianna. And the Cho'Gath TP timing was right where it needed to be. You have to respond to that, or you risk Samira starting to pull ahead, because there's easily a world in which that dive goes through, even though Orianna still didn't have her ulti back up yet. It's not hard for them to pull that kind of dive off, and he doesn't lose too much top lane. He loses a plate and a little bit of CS, but all that really does is neutralize the CS difference that he created, and he not a bad use of your teleport at all. You're not really upset that you don't get anything necessarily off of that teleport because you stop your bot lane from dying.
You do see the Ornal coming in. Graves dashed over to get out of that. Quickly followed up though by the Oriole. The chain damage coming out of that is huge. We have the Galio wall coming in, gets the knockup onto the Zoe, and it is just going to be lights out for her because it's 4 players of Winthrop closing in. Leo's in the back, can't really get in to help out, and that is going to be a kill now going over. It is 2-0 Ori, getting the mid lane strong here for the side of Winthrop, and they are going to try to go and get that plate. I think they're going to go for 2 plates here, maybe more. I don't know if Redefy will be able to defend this any further with just the gunner.
Yeah, so this should be the mid lane tier 1 going down, and one thing I want to call out there, Graves actually ulted trying to get over that wall. It actually would have saved his life. Oh, I guess they didn't quite get the tower low enough. They didn't get it quite down to just under 2.5 where you need to be for that first Herald charge to take it down. So just a little bit shy on damage, but they did have to back out there, otherwise they risk getting re-engaged on, and that could have been really disastrous for them.
Sure, Leo looking to get in, goes with the Lance. The Olaf ult gets popped. Galio taunt comes in. Leo getting dangerously low, has ignited, but she is definitely going to be able to make it out of that. Meanwhile, you have some damage going down onto the mid lane tower, but it is just going to be looking like they were Redefy trying to get Winthrop out, maybe looking for any late stragglers from that tower push. And now we're looking to see Kai'Sa get some solo farm down there, and come up with that pressure they just got.
Yeah, the looking for the re-engage there is definitely something that you like to see when you come off of a play like that, because a lot of times teams can just like be a little slow, looking to go through the jungle, start going through.
Oh, here we have 1-on-1 down bot lane. Samir ult does go out. Kai'Sa getting dangerous though, has to ult in order to be able to survive there. But it is going to be 2 members of Redefy coming in for support. The Graves gets taunted there. It's not going to come out. Meanwhile, you have the answer top lane. 2v1 top on top of Potamus, and it is going to be Olaf just whacking him down, and will finally go down to that to Olaf there. Frost Force picking up a kill of his own, securing that. Meanwhile, you do have the pressure bot having to shove Redefy's bot off that lane. So I think right there overall, that is definitely Winthrop coming out on top of this cleanly with the counter engages, and they do come out a little bit ahead on that.
Yeah, Winthrop right now is playing exactly the way their comp should be playing. They're playing very aggressive early on. They're utilizing the strength of this Olaf and just how he's spiking, as well as just Samira's natural strength at this stage of the game. Early on, and they're actually looking for another engage.
Flash timers were back up. They are looking for the engage. There is just too much CC going down. You had the Galio taunt followed by the Ornn ultimate, and it's just not going to be enough for the Kai'Sa to get out, especially after just burning her ult. Is not going to be able to use that to reposition to get out, and that is Kai'Sa going down. It is now 4-1 in favor of Winthrop University, and Redefy will have to try and find a way back in this game. They do try and catch this Olaf here, taking his red buff here. Does look like it might be able to go down. I don't think that they're going to be able to pick that off. Meanwhile, Graves has to flash to get out from the Ori. Galio getting the taunt and locking up the Leo, but she is definitely tanky, looking to pretty much just get out of this fight. Oh my lord, that damage from Orianna having to flash to get in, and it is going to be Ori picking up the kill onto that Leo, getting that pick. I don't know if that was the greatest position since they weren't able to get the Olaf on that initial engage. And yeah, Winthrop is just going to capitalize on that and keep getting that Ori stronger and stronger.
Well, they definitely should have killed the Olaf off of that, but Graves missed kind of like all of his abilities, and Olaf lives with like 150 HP. So super close on that one, but I mean, just the follow up off of it, yes, they almost disengage fully. Zoe does land the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, but like the Orianna flashing at that moment, yes, falling asleep stops you from doing anything, but once the Q is already in flight, the ball won't stop moving until it gets to where it's going. So a very good job timing that ability exactly on the money where it needed to be to secure that kill. And also, Zoe doesn't have enough damage to you know, one-shot Orianna right now or anything like that. She doesn't even have her mythic item complete. There's no real threat of any danger there for the Ori, so great flash forward and a really aggressive play as we head to a game top lane.
Yeah, top lane here is going to be 3 members of Winthrop coming down on top of Onimus, and it is just going to be an easy pickup kill for that Ori, again getting more and more fed here. You do see the counter engage down bot lane here. Leo trying to go in, does not get the stun off or the CC, and it's just going to be melted by Samir. You have the Galio knockup coming down. That's going to be a double kill onto the Samir, followed quickly by a triple with that ultimate going off. And that is not what you wanted to see come out of that bot lane engage. Meanwhile, you have mid lane here going down, the Ori ultimate going off and just trapping her around that edge, and is not going to be enough for her to get out. Zoe going down. It is not looking great for Redefy here, as you have 4 members now of Winthrop with their mythics. Definitely you see Kai'Sa picking up the Kraken Slayer along with Cho'Gath getting his mythic item as well. But right after that, I mean, it is just Winthrop getting these picks, getting these leads, and just holding on to it and pressuring.
I mean, we already have another fight in the mid lane.
We do see here Ori trying to get out the phase rush being huge right there. Speedy, and will be able to get herself out of range from that Leo coming in from the side. But yeah, man, we are definitely now at a point where Winthrop is strong enough to start taking more and more engagements as they see fit. And so yeah, we're just seeing them kind of take control.
Yeah, they should just keep accelerating here. So the cross map ace, I never really got a chance to talk about it. I mean, you saw the gank coming up topside, so Redefy has a reasonable assumption thinking, okay, we can make a play on the bot side right now. Samir is not out of control yet. We should have the damage to take her out. But I mean, they just collapse really quickly onto the Graves and take him out of the offset of the fight. So even though it's a 3v2, it's almost like a 2v1v2, because Graves just dies so early because he's so far ahead, and there's no way Kai'Sa can really follow up on that. And now they're just about to get dove again.
Yep, and it is just tower with low is not going to be enough here. The tower does go down. Doxa picking up a kill onto Kai'Sa. Double kill there actually with the Leo. Samir is able to pick up the kill on the tower, and then there's just going to be a clean dive for Winthrop here. They're getting to a point where they are unstoppable trying to take these objectives, and so Redefy is going to have to come together to try and pull something together.
I don't really think there is a way that Redefy, and this is where we start looking for Winthrop to just start closing the game out cleanly. They can always throw, things like that always happen, but when you're looking at teams in the highest levels, you want situations like these to just be clean. So what I'm looking for from Winthrop right now is to, they just took this Drake. They're up 2-1, so they can keep playing for dragons. But right now, I want to see them start moving their vision towards the top side of the map. You don't have Baron spawning for 3 minutes, but you can at the very least start setting up a little bit for it. Right now, they're still allowing Redefy to have a little bit of vision up there, so just starting to clear some of that out, prepare for that eventual moment. Well, I mean, they could threaten a 20-minute Baron with as strong as they are right now, and then just look to closing the game off of some kind of stop attempt from Redefy. So I think they have a lot of options for how to proceed, but I mean, it's so difficult for Redefy to even come back in this game. Looking for some kind of a forced Baron is really your hope in that moment. But without that, they don't really have a way to engage. You know, Leona can go in, but she's just going to get blown up so fast that you have all of this AoE CC that we've been talking about coming out from Winthrop, and I mean they're just going to roll through right now.
Yeah, and we do see here the Ornald going out, trying to, here is going to be 4 members closing in on the Cho'Gath up top lane. You know, definitely having to burn the ultis there, but is not going to be really a worry for Winthrop, as they know that they can just pretty much burn whatever they have to accomplish the objective, right? They're going to get the pick. You see them pick up the tower there. And yeah, just like you said, right? We're seeing the shift, the focus shift top lane, right? To set up vision, to set up plays up there. So that way, you know, they're definitely going to try and close this game out. You know, like you mentioned before, right? Top level teams, you're not going to see the kind of solo queue mentality of like, oh, you know, we're ahead, let's just get more kills. You know, we're going to see these teams close it out. And so Winthrop being as strong as they are and having the control that they do, we should see them try and break the base here shortly.
Yeah, and that's really what we're looking for from Winthrop. You know, they take that top inner turret and it opens up the map on the side of Baron. You know, it's exactly what they want, being able to find Cho'Gath out there, him thinking, oh, I'm safe under this tower, and then just you're really not at that point in the game. You need to take a look at this scoreboard and just realize that they can easily send a couple of people top, and yes, you're a tanky Cho'Gath, but you're not really that tanky in comparison to just how fed this Orianna is. 7-0 right now. 700 gold shutdown. Samira with a 600 gold shutdown already has her whole, I'm forgetting, blanking on the name right now. Collector, thank you.
Yeah.
And now Graves is about it. No, he'll survive through shield bow, but I mean, the shield bow being down for any potential Baron take is huge, because Graves is really relying on that to keep him alive through. And the Orianna cooldown on our ulti is not that high, especially at level 11. It gets down to a really reasonable number, and it'll be definitely back up in time by the time they really look for any kind of dragon engage or Baron engage.
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely, you know, kind of getting to that point where, yes, like you mentioned, 7-0, 4-0, both your carry lanes too, right? This is your mid and bot lane. Definitely the main primary sources of damage coming out, with them so far ahead. Redefy is going to have to either get an amazing pick on an outposition player, or yeah, I mean, they're just gonna, I feel like they're just gonna keep getting steamrolled during these fights, just because the damage ratio is not there. I mean, you do see here a team fight going up, multiple knockouts going down onto Winthrop, but you do have the Ornald going up, Kai'Sa going down immediately there, shortly followed by the Cho'Gath, and it is just going to be 3 members right now of Redefy down. Leo trying to run for her life, but is not going to be able to make it. Olaf coming down on you, and Ori is just going to be able to pick up the kill. Oh, nope, is just going to go over to top course at Olaf. And yeah, they're just going to move to try and take this Baron. It is definitely going to be a free Baron for them, having 4 members of Redefy down. You know, Zoe's not going to be able to get in there to steal. And so with this Baron take,
off of the fight, yeah, off of the fight, that's exactly how we saw Winthrop wanting to play this out. Rather than the Olaf running in, you have the Galio, who's just able to get in the middle of the team, being a nuisance, locking everybody down. And honestly, Redefy did a great job of trying to focus out the damage there, trying to focus out the Samira. They're just not strong enough. They don't have the damage to really eat through her shield bow. So she's able to live through it. Galio has a great ulti back to the other side of the fight, just as a source of peel. And then that alone just ends the fight. That's the hammer on that's the nail in the coffin. And looking at this dragon, that'll go over, you know, easily, no problem. And then I kind of just want to see them now mid bot, looking at that kind of pressure there with their Baron buff and looking to push through those 2 towers and close the game on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, with there goes the third Drake going down for Winthrop, and with that, yeah, I mean, they're buffed up right now, ready to push in these lanes, especially with how strong the Baron buff is on those minions. Yeah, pushing and splitting it down the mid bot, yeah, is so strong of a push. And with Redefine not having the damage, they're not going to be able to. They're going to lose something regardless here. It's not. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
They're
and
going to
and
have
I,
to
and I
lose.
like the and I like the 113 that they've built here. You know, Ornn has his TP, so he can get all the way bot from top pretty easy on any potential Leona engage or something like that. Orianna has a short walk down, so she's able to apply a lot of pressure with these Baron minions, and then you've got the 3-man in bot side as opposed to like a 1-3-1. So I really like this little adaptation to their overall push strategy of the 1-1-3.
Yeah, we might see here Redefy looking to play a little bit aggressively, pushing them out of the lane. Winthrop definitely respecting that, backing off pretty quickly as
I mean,
we see that
Ornn's
pressure
already
going.
eaten through the top tower.
Yeah, he's definitely just freely getting these objectives here. There goes the
And
top.
I mean, he's
down.
about to walk in 2 Baroned up minion waves into the Nexus towers, and they're still defending a bot turret.
Yeah, they
So
can't
like
stop it.
Redefy, you kind of need
To choose and engage here. They need to choose and
exactly.
engage and try and go for something here.
Like
A last
Ornn
stand effort.
Ornn is still on the, just up here. They haven't. And then Orianna's getting the mid turret, so no one's been defending these. They've been kind of just forcing themselves against the 3-man bot rather than trying to defend what's left top and mid when you only have one person there. You know, maybe you find something with the Leona going onto Orianna or something like that. Like maybe you can all eat through the Ornn, and then you at the very least have you've lost a tower in the bot.
Yep,
but
and it looks like we
least,
see the
maybe
choice
you go
though
for it.
here mid. We do have the decision to defend mid. Leo trying to go in for the gauge, but definitely gets chunked out down there. Is going to be Winthrop following up very quickly on this. Cho'Gath
game.
going down quickly, followed by Kai'Sa, and that is going to be game number 1 here tonight. Going over to Winthrop University. They played this very, very well, very, very strong, and came through here, clenching the first game of the best of 3 series. Very, very strong start for them. They'll be looking to kind of continue and lead with that momentum as we get into game number 2 here. If you are Redefy, you are looking to kind of counter this up, to change up, and take what you learned from game number 1, translate it into game number 2, and hopefully come out with the W. So, yeah,
Yeah,
we're
I
gonna.
think.
Oh, go
I,
ahead.
Yeah, I think what kind of transition we're looking for in terms of any potential adaptation is just more proactivity. In that composition, like we were saying, there's a lot of you're waiting on them to come to you. You're waiting on them to do something. And I think they definitely did that, but it kind of started to bite them because they didn't really have the ability to make a proactive play. They kind of just didn't. And then you have Winthrop who was just making play after play after play. And sure, the first couple didn't necessarily work out, but once those proactive moves started to go, they just kept rolling and rolling until it got out of control. So yes, there's a world in which those don't work. Redefy gets to scale up and they're just crushing through with this kind of poke counter engage comp. But I think they just need a couple of more proactive tools for next game, and that's the big adaptation that I'm looking for from them.
Yeah, definitely to make anything a little bit easier for them to put a stop, or to really get them and get them ahead and get them that early aggression that they may need to kind of get themselves rolling. So, yeah, we'll have to see here. After a short break, we'll get into game number 2. We'll see what each team breaks out here. Winthrop looking to close out this series, and Redefy looking to hang on, take it to game number 3. But don't go anywhere. We will be back shortly after a few minutes, and we'll be back for game number 2.
fight to hold our heads up high and beat the drums to what we love. Risk the fall, oh, we have felt it all come crashing down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of a world that we defy. A soul ray of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last fight. Hearing voices from afar, join the madness when the curtain falls. Risk it all, hold nothing back. Seize the day, we must attack. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of a world that we defy. A soul ray of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last fight. Can we bring to fall the giants? 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 We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of a world that we defy. A soul ray of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last fight.
All right, everybody, welcome back here. We are going to get game number 2 here underway. If you are just joining us here, we are in a best of 3 series here with Winthrop University going up against our very own Redefy Esports team. It is currently 1-0 right now for Winthrop, and we are about to get into game number 2. So with Pro Draft underway, we are seeing some different bands come out here. Not seeing some crazy things. So we might be seeing, changing up from game number 1. What are we looking to change? What are we looking, to kind of how do we clench this W here? In the second game. So yeah,
Yeah,
looking at
so
the picks and bands, Raptor, what are you thinking here? I mean, we do see the
so
Hecker
looking at
band still.
these first couple of bands, Winthrop's not really changing anything up, which off of a win, you think, okay, my strategy's working, I'm not going to change anything. I don't think we really should see much of a difference coming up from these bands. But for Redefy, we are seeing a couple of adaptations. We're seeing the Lucian and the Galio band. Those are new bands. The Lucian band, I'm not sure where that comes from, so I can't really comment. Lucian's in a great place in bot lane right now, so maybe it's just you don't want them to play at AD carry. But then the Galio, I really like that band. That pick is just it's so much AoE CC, and it's a good balance of engage and counter engage because it's so hard to engage on a Galio in bot lane, but it's also not the easiest time for Galio to engage either. So it's a very good lane neutralizer, gank setup tool, and just phenomenal in those mid late game team fights.
Yeah, I
So
mean, we
great
definitely saw that.
adaptation coming out from there.
We definitely saw that coming through for Winthrop
Hmm.
last game. I mean, the flash taunts, the
Yeah, oh, yeah.
ultimates coming through to save, save Ori, or maybe not even save, but just there for support, right?
Hmm.
The utility that comes out of Galio was a lot, and so seeing that ban come out, definitely, I think
Hmm.
Redefy is respecting that from last game and says, no
And
thanks, we don't want that.
they're still very much valuing the Kaisa here, which I don't think the Kaisa was really a problem. It never got a chance to show how strong the pick is, but I don't think that was really a problem in the draft at all. I think that's a great B1. And then on the side of that, we see Winthrop go for Graves Misfortune. I it's interesting to see them change their strategy up that much. They're going for something that's not similar to what Redefy went for, just because Graves is a parent, because you have Misfortune there who's looking for these big grouped team fights to utilize her ultimate in. But it's interesting to see them change up their strategy so much from like this real go forward style to something that is definitely more oh, let's just get everyone in a zone and then this is our zone.
Yeah, no, for sure. Kind of like setting up the kill box there,
Hmm.
for themselves.
Hmm.
We'll see here with that third pick what they're going to use to synergize into that. But yeah, I mean, right, like just seeing Misfortune Graves, you have a very
Ooh,
large
Akali.
burst zone. And yeah, with the Akali picking up, she's going to be jumping in, jumping out, looking for the carries there.
And that was actually
Um,
banned by Redefy last game. So this is a champion that they didn't want them to have before, that they're now saying, all right, we're willing to try to play into the Akali, but so we'll have to see how that pick does now that it's been unlocked. But then on the other side, I see a Maokai, and I'm assuming that's Maokai support. I haven't really been seeing Maokai play top lane, so I think that kind of a support is much better for is a similar vein to Galio. It's not the easiest time to engage onto him, because he can always just knock you away, slow you, and just walk off, or counter engage himself with any kind of W onto your AD carry. And at the same time, he's just throwing saplings into lane bushes the whole time, being annoying. So I don't think that that's a bad blind pick support. I think it's interesting to blind pick your support that early in the draft, because you're very much giving what your bot lane is. And
yeah,
oh,
definitely.
they missed a ban there from the pro draft, but I imagine they'll communicate that through uh, and it's not into Akali, but I do like that kind of a thing into Akali, because you have Ken and Ban. Thank you so much, Benjamin, on the production. So that you're taking away another big AOE team fight tool, which is good if Winthrop plays it. I think you don't want like a Kennen flank coming in, locking everything up into a Misfortunal. That's just
Yeah,
too much
huge. Asking for
damage.
trouble, asking for trouble.
Asking for it. But now from their top lane, I think I'd actually like to see the Ornn come out for Winthrop again, R5, which I'm really surprised that they held that pick that long, if that's what they're going for. Um, but we'll have to see what they go for from their top lane from here, and then how Redefy is about to wind out their draft.
Yeah, there's Poppy Pig coming out. I think that is a favorite champion for Topopotamus there. So seeing the Poppy come out, I definitely think that that is going to go top. And
Hmm.
yeah, it seems like a comfort pick for him. So might have to see how that changes things. I'm curious to see what your thoughts actually are. Seeing that Kindred pick come out, right? Knowing that she has the ultimate to kind of keep members alive, especially right, knowing that Winthrop was looking for
Hmm.
that kind of kill zone, and then being able to pop that Kindred ult down in that kill zone could be crucial for some of these team fights.
Hmm.
So I'm interested to see. I mean, right, we saw the jungler, Redefy's jungler on Graves last time. So seeing that Graves get picked up by Winthrop this time, answering that with Kindred, I mean, what do you think that is going to be playing in? Like, is it really he's just going to be looking for those team fight saves, or how is that going to him coming into effect? Redefy.
Yeah, I think Redefy is looking for a bit more early aggression. I actually really like how the Kindred can help with early aggression. When you have decent gank setup, Kindred can just walk in, and I mean those can be just so powerful. And then you also have a lot of potential jungle skirmish. So she's really going to be able to stand up to Graves and really contest him as he moves to some of these neutral objectives. So I think they're definitely setting themselves up to have more ability to be proactive, which is one thing I really wanted to see after last game. So we'll have to see how he does with the pick, and if he can move around with it more or less, get across the map, apply pressure, just do things, because we never really got the chance to see Redefy do anything other than fail a couple of attempts because they were just set up to fail by Winthrop. So from Redefy, that's really what I'm looking to see is proactivity before it's too late, and that has good setup and is executed well. And then I think when we switch that over and look at Winthrop, they rounded out their draft with Mordekaiser. So you're looking at this just big team fight front. Does kind of a similar thing to Cho'Gath, is he can't really engage on his own, but once you are in and once the team fight has been started and he's in the middle of it, he is just a beast. So I mean, we'll just have to see how these team fights play out. You're really relying on Leona for a lot of your CC on that team. I mean, Leona is basically all of your team CC
Yep.
outside of like a Mordekaiser pull and MF slow and Graves
Yeah, I was gonna say not really
blind.
hard
So like
CC there.
there's not a
Yeah.
lot of hard CC on this comp. So you're really relying on a lot, especially when you already picked a Misfortune, which does best when you have a lot of that set up hard CC. So I don't think this draft is as cohesive as their previous draft, but maybe it's just they're on a lot of comfort, and they're hoping that you can kind of create this chaotic situation in which you don't need a ton of CC because there's just so much going on everywhere. Abilities are flying all over the place, and it's not a super front to back team fight. And that kind of a comp, if you're able to create those chaotic situations, can do very well. But I think you've kind of swapped now where I think Winthrop has a bit harder to execute comp because I mean Poppy can always just kick somebody out that's trying to be there. You have a colleague going and Poppy just says nope. Kindred can stop a lot of this carnage from happening just by ulting when your people are getting low. So I do think that Redefy has a much more solid draft coming out of this game, and we'll just have to see if they're able to utilize it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely solid. I think definitely more of a solid draft than we saw in first game here. I think yeah, definitely on Redefis, you're seeing a lot of comfort picks come out. So hoping to see a little bit more confidence, hoping to see that early aggression, like you were saying, because we really, yeah, I mean, we didn't really get to see them kind of get any momentum or kind of get their foot in the door, to really
Hmm.
kind of show us what they can do. When things are coming together, is Winthrop kind of just always chomping at the bit to really get in there and put Redefy on the ledge, which they definitely did a good job of.
Hmm.
So I mean, right. So last game we saw Ori get super far ahead, followed by the Samira. After having the Ori get so far ahead, you're able to then help Samira, right? Get up there as well. Looking from last game, we saw Doxa and Saskio, both their big players here. On Redefy, you got to come up. So who are you looking to stop those? Who are you looking to stop those carries now that you know that they can pop off and definitely, back it up with the skill coming out of that.
Hmm.
For Redefy, how did they answer that?
So part of it is just keeping Akali down in lane and not letting her get to a point where she can, make free roams. And I think Syndra's a great pick for that. You're just looking for Syndra to constantly just be pushing in, not letting Akali leave the lane, and also not letting Akali engage. So Akali starts coming in, you've got your E to just, push her right off, say no thank you, I will not have this today, and just disengage off that fight. So rather than looking for things like mid lane 1v1s and massive outplays, I think you just don't want Akali to do anything. And the less Akali does, the better it is for you in the long term. Um, and on the same back of that, because you're going to be constantly pushing in, I want to see PieSwag doing a lot around mid lane and just keeping presence and just helping to make sure Graves can't walk in, and then they start engaging onto the Syndra. Because if they are able to start getting a Kali head and she can start getting those free engages with her ult, with her E, with those kind of abilities, then it starts to get very scary because you need Syndra to be able to stand in the mid lane. And I think when you're already looking at how that lane played out in game one, that's definitely a bit scary for me when we're talking about how that matchup was already played between the two players. So we'll have to see if the change of champions does anything. But it does seem like Doxa is on a much more comfortable champion, given that it was banned away from him game one.
Yeah, seeing definitely if Redefy is respecting that Akali ban in the first one, going through their head is like, okay, for game number two, we give it to them, right? Confident enough to give them the Akali pick. We do see the answer with Syndra, so we will have to see how that kind of 1v1 matchup goes, or if we see Pie Swag or if we see Frost Forest come through. I know we definitely saw the jungle pressure there in the mid lane. I know kind of early on, Doxa was definitely getting the 1v1s off, but having the jungler there to help out, just even having the pressure, really adds so much to that. And so I'm looking kind of from game number one, Winthrop. I'm kind of looking to see kind of the same setup, right? Get your strong lane ahead, and then seeing how that plays in. I'm just looking to see here for Redefy what a better answer they have, because they didn't really get to answer in game number one. And so hopefully,
and just before we move into this break, I think the answer to that is, this is Pie Swag's redemption game. I think he is set up to do a lot in this game, and I'm looking for him to do that. And I'm really excited to see what he can do. Right when we get back from this break.
perfect. Perfect. All right, guys, we are here loaded onto the Rift. Should be switching here shortly. And yes, we do see here all summoners out on the Rift, going here for the start of game number two. Looking to see here now with teams on opposite sides. Definitely might have a little bit comfort pick. I know when I play, I definitely like being on blue sides, but we'll see here if the switch changes things up. We do see here different changes definitely in the team comps, so we'll have to see here how this plays out. Definitely looking for a similar start from game number one. I don't really think we're going to see any invades, just a classic 5-point, and then we'll get this game underway.
Yeah, pretty standard 5-point coming out. So just that's about expected. Neither team has really the level 1 to pull off and engage. So I think we should be seeing standard pathing coming out from each jungler. And it looks like both will be starting top and moving their way bot side, starting at the red buffer in the blue buffer Kindred respectively. So really looking to potentially meet at this bottom Scuttle Crab. So we'll have to look after they get their bottom buffs. If there is any action coming out, and also we'll be looking at mid lane and bot lane to see where priority comes out, because that will matter a lot. And if you have both lanes getting priority, you'll basically be able to deny the other jungler from getting Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, I mean, we did see, right, just kind of referencing game number 1, right? We did see that early bot Scuttle Crab get taken. Definitely seeing the bot lane put the pressure onto Redefy in order for that last game, in order for Frostforce to get that crab, which definitely, I felt like just added to the pressure and control that Winthrop had, in that bottom half. So, getting these visions, getting the kind of the priority there is going to be super important. But definitely seen as both the junglers move through, things are kind of just business as usual here. A little bit of poke down going into the top lane there onto the Mordekaiser. Again, I know Top Eponymous is on a comfort pick, so definitely looking to see some confident plays out of that top side.
And just looking at where CS is coming from off the start of it, it does look like you're getting Prio in the mid lane for Syndra, which we talked about wanting to see from JHL, and then from the bot lane we're seeing Winthrop University come through again, and with a lane like MF Leona, that makes sense. There's not a lot of ways for Kai'Sa Maokai to get early priority, so that I think everything's playing out about as expected right now. As we get some trading in the top lane, top laners being top laners, and end up at about an even trade.
Nice lance from the Leona onto the Kai'Sa, definitely getting some damage, definitely Winthrop getting damage off on there. Meanwhile, you have the counter engage of top lane, Top Eponymous here and PieSwag going in onto the Mordekaiser. That will be first blood going over to PieSwag, and just like you were saying, Raptor, we wanted to see the early engage, kind of wanted to see the early aggression, so that way we can see Redefy, get into the game.
Rather than trying to fight Graves at that bottom scuttle, I really like what PieSwag did there, seeing the mark come out in the top lane. Oh man,
Akali getting dangerously low here. Ooh, does land the shuriken? Is she gonna take it back in?
Syndra has no mana. Okay, not gonna do it. Not gonna risk it. You are really low. Yeah, I think you should have done it. Syndra didn't have any mana. Doesn't have Ignite. I think.
Oh my god! Here comes Kindred. But yeah, totally uneventful there. Just kind of walks up. But right. Yeah, I don't know, man. Definitely with the low mana, right? You had the safety, kind of the safety.
I think it's smarter. It's smarter to not take it. It's always gonna be smarter to not take it.
Lee Syndrome.
Yeah, but I'm actually curious if Kindred got 2 marks off of that. I didn't see if the Mordekaiser had a mark going on him at the start of that gank. So if Kindred already has 2 marks this early in the game, that's really good.
Yeah, definitely, right. Just getting those passive stats and then just being able to stack those up, especially so early on, just gives them a better advantage. And this is what we kind of wanted to see from last game, where we wanted to see the
That's dead Maokai.
Yeah, we do have the bot engage going down. Leo actually getting the kill. But yeah, that is Maokai going down. We do see the answer top lane TP coming in. It is going to be a 3v2 here, looking to go in on the Mordekaiser again. Syndra getting the stun off. PieSwag picking it up at the end. I don't think he had the mark on him that time. I was trying.
No, not you. You wouldn't be able to mark two times in a row that fast.
Quick.
Yeah. But I think right there we're seeing kind of also in bot lane just how that lane will play out anytime you look for an all-in as Kai'Sa Maokai. You really can't do that. Maokai isn't a tanky champion by any stretch of the imagination. So like I don't know. There's just not there's nothing you can really do. So I don't see why you would go for that engage, because you're positioning in a way which is asking Leona to come in. So if you're going to be standing that far up, you're not necessarily Wing in first, but you're doing the equivalent of engaging by just allowing Leona to come onto you that easily.
Yeah, basically just saying here it's a freebie. Come here and burn your spells pretty much. And yeah, I mean, yeah, right, Maokai not being a tanky champion and Kai'Sa not having the damage, I don't think, to back it up. We do see the flash from Leona over the wall, Maokai going back in onto the Graves there, but it's not going to have an out. and Graves will easily be able to pick up that Maokai. That is another Maokai kill going down from kind of like a questionable play, right? A questionable go, and that one could have been just out position. I know Leo flashed over.
Yeah,
but
I don't think that was really horrible positioning on Maokai's part. I think I don't, you're not really expecting Graves to be in your jungle right there, so a little unfortunate that happens because when you're playing Maokai support, it's not tanky. You're not seeing this as like, oh, Kindred stole the Drake.
Coming through strong,
Woo!
flashing out to get out to safety. But PieSwag, having the 2 early kills there and then being able to steal that dragon, he is coming out this game very, very strong. Definitely in change. I think he wants to answer for last game and say, hey, we're not gonna let you guys have it this easy.
Oh yeah, they are fully intent, it seems, on not just going down off of that first game without a fight. PieSwag seems to be coming out swinging with a message to say that game was not me. I am here to make some plays, get some things done, and I mean that's exactly what he's doing right now.
Yeah, definitely getting the lanes strong, right? We've seen the multiple ganks top lane, right? And so I was curious, right? We were talking about at the beginning of the game, where are we going to see the focus, right? We do see here the 1v1 engage going in, the Syndra ult having to go down,
the
Akali getting through, and it is not going to be enough. Akali cannot take down the Syndra. Kindred is there for the help. But yeah, Akali's gonna kind of bite off a little bit too much. She missed that Q. Do you think that would have been enough?
Yeah, oh yeah, that would have been enough. That was so close to securing the kill. I mean, just that slight little miss is the difference between a 1-for-1 and a 1-for-0. So it's really unfortunate. I think that's a fine engage to take. You see Syndra kind of low. You're like, okay, I can definitely do this. We have the opportunity to fight. But it's just, I mean.
Gank after gank right now. PieSwag is all over the map, coming through, just really all over the place. We did see kind of a pinch there onto the Mordekaiser. Well, the Maokai engage goes in, but Mordekaiser will actually flash to the wall over to the red, getting dangerously low. I don't know if the Ignite is going to tick him out. It is going to stop just a second before Kali picking up a kill onto top of Eponymous there. Kindred having to go into the Rift Herald pit to get out. But then it's just with with top Eponymous down, I don't think Redefy has it enough to be able to kind of salvage that, and we're going to see them back out. Deep in that jungle, Raptor, do you think? I know they were going for the pick onto that Mordekaiser early, but once it didn't go through, I feel like they might have had to back off. But I mean, with Maokai going in, with the flash over, I don't know if they had much of a choice.
Yeah, there definitely wasn't. Once that Maokai gets pulled over the wall, you kind of have to try to go for something. It looked like Poppy was going to try to just let the Mordekaiser tick down and trust that the Ignite would be enough. And is just a little bit shy. I think you just want to secure that kill because it's going to go on the support anyways, so you might as well take it yourself.
Yeah, no doubt. Especially, yeah, kind of waiting for it to go, not getting secure, having the potential to get it, versus like, we'll maybe let it run out, kind of versus getting the confirmed kill there or confirmed. So, yeah, definitely a little unfortunate to see the Ignite not quite make it. Yeah, wow, more action down bot. Misfortune going to pretty much clear out the wave, I think, and really kind of get Kai'Sa off there. Yeah, pretty standard here. Kindred is everywhere over the map, really trying to look up. We do see here though the Leo waiting in the bush to try and maybe set something up. Syndra is low here. Kali definitely looking in. She has the shuriken mark on it. Will decide to go in. The Syndra ult does go down, but the tower will take it. Meanwhile, we do see here more engagement coming through. Maokai trying to go out. I didn't get to see Raptor where he was coming in from. Could he have taken a different way instead of going through that mid?
I don't think so. Man. I think that was really the only way.
Ooh, Kai'Sa having to ult in. The heal going down on the Misfortune is not going to be enough with the double up Q coming out of Misfortune to finish off the Kai'Sa. Definitely getting out. Was kind of close. But will end up securing that. It is going to be 1-0 right now. You are looking at a flawless bot, which is pretty strong now that we can get that going.
Yeah, and it looks like Misfortune's going for a build which is the lethality into Manamune build, which I think is still strong. It's great if you're looking for those big team fight ultis. The only concern that I have is we get this fight in the top lane. That's interesting interaction.
Interesting. Yeah, Mord ult and then the Poppy ult is just gonna be okay. Just we're gonna go our separate ways there. Okay.
But what's kind of interesting about it is it looks like Mord still stays in the air for like the full duration of what Poppy's ult says it should be. So he just kind of stops at that that point and just kind of stays there. Kindred.
Man.
Oh, Kindred.
Oh, does not
that's
the
some
Rift
damage.
does not quite get it there. Definitely get some
No.
good tower damage done, but Mordekaiser's
And
pretty
you're
much able
happy
to
with the
just stay there.
plates.
Yeah,
you're,
gold,
you're,
gold.
You're happy
two
with the
gold, kidding.
plates. You would have liked to be able to get that extra, plate. Most of a plate down before the Herald charges, but not quite able to get it. You're not too upset.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, definitely looking to get kind of pretty much really just any lead, right? Doesn't have to be a crazy big one. They're looking to get inch by inch and then translate that into further power later down.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering if we can get a Kindred passive check on from production. I'm curious to see how far along she is in reaching that big 4-mark power spike and getting that range buff as we get some more fighting coming out from our top laners. Always trading. Top laners, they're a breed of their own.
It does look like it is up there. Let's see, she has.
Oh, okay.
No,
Thank you
one
so
hunt.
much, Ben. We see only 1 mark, so it looks like only that first one.
Oh my gosh,
Ah.
Kindred while coming down does end up saving the Graves, but ends up saving herself as well. It is going to be kind of a little bit of a skirmish here. 2 players, though, on Winthrop, a little bit low, looking to not really force that engagement in the mid lane. And Redefy just kind of taking over and just farming, going back to lane. Yeah, okay, so we got a little bit of spiciness in the mid lane there. Yeah, I mean, right now, I feel like both teams are actually kind of even. I mean, I know that Winthrop is up a little bit in gold here. But yeah, looking for these engages here. Nice flash to get out of that one. Not able to, Winthrop not able to get the engage that they wanted there.
That's such a huge CS difference in the bot lane.
Oh my
That's
gosh, I didn't even
painful.
see that. I didn't
Yeah,
even
that's
see it.
painful. That's a
Holy
60
cow.
CS difference.
I mean, we already see, right, looking at Mythics, Kindred is the only one that has the Mythic completed on Redefy. Meanwhile, you have Misfortune picking up the Eclipse, and you already have the Gale Force on the Graves. Into the top lane action, though, here we got Mordekaiser picking up the kill onto the Kindred. Poppy getting the stun onto the Kali, quickly followed by the ult knockup. Kali is in the Shroud. Try and salvage this. Does get the ult jump for good distance. Leo is there to save, but it is not going to be. No, it's just going to be Graves ulti getting the kill there onto that Maokai. Little quick 2v2, but I don't think that Winthrop, I don't think the Redefy has the health here. Yeah, and it is just going to be a pinch onto that Syndra. Graves picking up that kill. That is a lot of picks and action going on there. Raj, do you want to break that down?
Yeah, I mean, that was just
Holy.
a lot of trading going across the board. It was a bit unfortunate that Maokai ran straight into Graves as he was looking to come up and support that team fight. I imagine he's looking to get some kind of an ulti off. Have a lot of AoE CC coming down would definitely be helpful there. But I mean, Graves just absolutely shredded him apart, and then just gets to walk the rest of the top wave, has his Gale Force going. So, I mean, just from the start of it, though, Maokai chose his ult target correctly. The last couple of times we've actually been seeing him target the Poppy, and she's just able to survive through the damage. Kindred didn't have her ultimate at the time, so she can't survive in Maokai ult. Yes, he has to burn his flash, but it secures the kill, and then that just allows them, even though he dies after that, you have a Kali who also dies. I mean, Graves just comes up big out of that one, and it's mostly even. I would say it's definitely Winthrop weighted, but we're seeing signs of life from Redefy, and I don't think they're out of it yet.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
Oh,
that
that's
into an engagement though. We have the Leo lance going on, quickly followed up by the ultimate, and it's going to be Kindred going down in a matter of seconds there. Meanwhile, Kali having to back off that bot lane tower.
I don't even know if she had to back off. I think you could just kill the Kai'Sa. She's 3 levels below you. Poppy doesn't really do enough damage, and Kai'Sa does nothing right now. I think that's a 2v1 you could have taken.
Yeah, maybe trying to play it a little bit safe. Akali Ray is not ahead like she was on Ori. She is at 2 and 3. Still definitely strong, still a threat for sure. But maybe not be, or might not be as confident as she was on that Ori to be taking those multiple 1v2s. May not be thinking she has the damage, but yeah, I mean, seeing the situation, right? Kai'Sa was even low on mana there. I think she might have been able to go in and not have to worry.
Yeah, I think Akali would have won that, but it doesn't really matter. I think it's okay to make the safer play. You know, you're 2 and 3. You don't want to risk giving anything over. So it's ultimately not, you know, the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean,
but I mean,
ooh.
if,
Flash having to be burnt. The Leo ult not quite getting the Cinder there. I know Miss Fortune was looking for that synergistic Wombo to try and get her ulti off, but the Flash from Cinder definitely saved her.
Yep.
Meanwhile, you
gosh.
have the Lance going all the way over the Dragon Pit wall into 2 players. Leo getting a little bit too deep in there, but mad damage comes down. Do you see the Kindred very, very low, having to pop the ultimate to get out? And that is going to be Maokai, though, kind of leading the team away. And maybe leading to safety with Poppy coming in. Top is looking to get strong, looking to front line. Meanwhile, Kindred looking to get some damage off, does get the Miss Fortune trade kill. And then it is just going to be Winthrop, though, picking up the scraps here. It is Mordekaiser coming down with that Mace Slam onto the Poppy. Kai'Sa having to back out, does not have any support, does not have the damage to really salvage anything from here. I mean, with everyone down, I'm kind of curious to see why they're not going for the drag.
I think they're just a little bit worried about not having enough damage and maybe something coming through. I think that's a fine Drake that they could have gone for, but ultimately they're making the decision just to fix bot wave and look for mid tower pressure here. I don't think Akali maybe gets this tower. Let me see it. Yeah,
no, I don't think she'll get it. Yeah, almost.
Yeah.
Almost.
It would have been really close. I think she gets it if no one shows up, but I mean, someone's going to show up there. So at this point, you don't necessarily also need to go for the Drake because you know that you're going to have priority coming off of it. You just got a huge team fight win. Your Mordekaiser got a big gold influx. So you're able to just kind of wait. It's not necessarily that's when we have to do the dragon. It's fine to just hold up and wait a minute,
take a breath,
let them put some funky in it, and you just let your Graves do his thing, and you have no risk at all, and then you also get a lot of mid tower damage down. So ultimately, I don't think it's hurtful.
Oh man, I thought for a second we might be seeing 2v1 bot there, but not going to take it with that tower there. Meanwhile, we do see an aggressive flash from Leo at the Rift Herald, going through, trying to get onto that Wither from stopping to take it. But it is going to be 2 kills, though, going over to Redefy for that engage. And so, yeah, Redefy coming out of that one. I don't know if that was just kind of like a, hey, the Rift is almost dead. Let's just go for a play. It kind of looked like it was a little rush there from Winthrop. And yeah, Redefy coming out ahead on that engage, quickly popping the Rift Herald. I think they're going to look for a big mid lane push.
Yeah, it's you get that Herald, you're not going to get the second charge off because, you know, the whole of Winthrop is there. But great job from them still looking, and you know, your bot lane turret is low, so you do have the potential for Redefy to definitely take that. So this game is not as far lost as the other was. They're in a rough spot right now. Graves is very strong. Mordekaiser just came back from a huge gold loss. Your bot lane is really the point. Okay.
Ooh, man, ultimate going off right at the start of the fight. Poppy having to ult Mordekaiser away, is just kind of trapped in the Shadow Realm. Is now out and surrounded by 3 members of Winthrop looking to chase this down, and it will be Doxa picking up the kill on top of Potamus there. Definitely super strong. Man, having 3 members there right out, I just don't see a way for you to get out of that, but Redefy has to answer somewhere else.
Yep, well, we'll have to see just where they look to fight back. You know, they were looking, just as I was talking about, they were looking for that bot push. And I mean, it's kind of okay to go for that, but not when you don't have really enough supporting vision to allow you to do that without knowing who's coming. And Kindred, that's
man, you were talking about that Graves damage earlier. Man, that one just took out like almost all of her health. It looked like half Kindred's health there from one Q. That was just massive damage. It might have even been a Q auto maybe, but so much damage coming down. I mean, that is 3 members surrounded Kindred there. She was going for the red buff. I don't know if that was a little bit greedy being that deep with, I don't know if they had vision of all the other players, but Kindred definitely getting picked there. And meanwhile, with Kindred down now, that is going to be no smite for this Baron. I don't know. Do you think Redefy has to engage on this to take it away?
I definitely think it's harder if they let this Baron go over, but it's getting too low now. Yeah, they take it.
Yeah,
now you just kind of have to hope you can get Baron off of whoever you can.
Nope, we do see here the choice going over to get the first kill onto the Leo. Graves picking up a kill onto Topopotamus. He's going to be shut down. Kaisa getting a shutdown kill. Big gold on from that Mordekaiser, but it is just not going to be enough damage from Redefy coming through. We do see the aggressive flash coming out. I don't know if J-Child's going to be able to get out of this one alive. Just because they have the pinch off and now they're closing in on the kill. Yep, that is just going to be a blown up Syndra, and then with the Baron backs, it's just going to be quick and easy out there. Ah, man, with the Baron buff going down, only 3 members have it up. I don't know if that was enough, if that was really enough to get out, but I feel like they had to do something, right?
Yeah, I mean, you had to try something, and you get a little bit out of it, so it's at least you're getting something, and what you're losing isn't really going to make the situation much worse. So it's still getting to the point where it's getting scarier and scarier for Redefy. We'll have to see how Winthrop is able to utilize this Baron buff. It looks like they're setting up for kind of like a 3-half-1, I like to call it, where you have like your Graves rotating between your mid and your bot lane where your Akali is. So I like this setup from them. You don't necessarily need to have a 1-3-1. I think you can put a lot more pressure on 2 lanes and just focus on that. You don't have a lot of poke, you don't have a lot of long range tower take, so you can just look to get these couple of inner towers that are left up with the Baron buff while having a lot of easily rotational ability from your team, since you don't have like a TP available from either Akali or Mordekaiser. You don't have a lot of easy rotation like you had last game in Galio ulti, so I really do like this setup that they're going with right now.
I mean, and we kind of saw something similar last game, right? Where they have these, obviously they're way further ahead last time, but you saw, right, where Winthrop is having the ultimatum, right? Where it's like, choose something to defend, choose something. We're going to make you choose, but you're going to lose something. And that is just going to be massive damage coming down from the Misfortune ultimate there. Definitely picking up the kill onto the Kindred here. It is going to be only 1. Meanwhile, you have the engage down bot lane. Nothing more is going to happen. It's only Poppy there. Now you have Maokai coming in. Poppy getting Akali dangerously low under the tower. That tower hit does get her low, but she is going to be able to ult and pick up the kill onto the Maokai. Meanwhile, right, we were talking about how the pressure is all the way there. You have mid lane still pushing in while Akali is just wasting time down bot lane. I don't know if Poppy is going to be able to catch this. Maybe, yeah, with the dash.
She should be able to.
Okay,
she's got the speed up, and Akali's W cooldown just a bit too long.
Oof.
So she's able to secure the Akali kill, but like, you're
is
gonna
it
get run
worth
down
it?
by Graves. Oh,
Is it worth it? Man, yeah, Graves coming with the damage, definitely burning down. Will end up
just go hit the
taking some
tower.
towers.
Just go hit the.
Yeah,
You're dead
get
anyways.
something.
Go hit
Yeah,
the
get
tower.
something, right? Oh man,
Come on.
maybe it's time to panic.
If you're gonna honorable Seppuku, at least get the tower with you. But now we're about to see the dragon go down to Graves here, while the rest of the team goes and reestablishes mid pressure. They got a lot off of that Baron to the point where I think the game is endable. Okay.
Mordekaiser trying to ult. He's actually the one that initiated this fight, trying to take the advantage. With Kaisa showing how much damage he has. Will get the 5th pop. Mordekaiser does go down. Meanwhile, you have the bottom fight though. Graves is just massive, man. He is blowing people up right there. It is like, I'm trying to just see him, but he's already killing them before I even get a chance to look. Woo, man. Okay, and that is 3 members of Redefy down for 1 of Winthrop, and it is now just going to be looking to get this bot lane pressure. We see Akali, kind of getting their wave close there. I think Poppy is just going to be able to stop that, though, pretty much stop anything. But they were able to pick up the inhib off that. They are definitely, kind of playing, I think, a page out of their last playbook there, right? Like, you have multiple lanes pushing. You're going to have Redefy choose to defend one thing, but you're going to come out with something because they can't defend everything. And so we just saw that there. They get the inhib. They weren't able to get, really anything bot, but you do see the crazy team fights coming out there, and that gives them even more of an edge coming out into these next team fights.
And especially now that we're looking at Baron in another minute, that's no time at all. It's really getting scary for Redefy in how they can come back from this game, and it's really going to be around that Baron fight. If it even gets to that, we could see Winthrop look for some kind of an engage or a pick before that Baron, like they've been doing kind of all series, where we're right before the objective spawns, they make a play somewhere on the map, and then they move to the objective. But right now, it seems like we're going to end up with something a bit more traditional, but they've established complete control over this Baron, and I think it's very hard for Redefy to come out into it. Your Kais is getting to the point where she's back in the game now. She's not quite at that 3 item.
Oh man, Flash having to be burnt, but it is just not going to be great.
That's just overextended. There's no reason for him to be there.
Vision, you saw all the wards that they placed, right? We saw them get all the controls that they wanted. And then now, right, they're looking for these engage. Leo might have been a little bit pushed up there. But they have the ability to kind of be maybe a little bit out positioned more than Redefy can be. And you are just seeing the damage come down. Gray's having to flash out because Poppy's coming in there for the 2v1 after the Kindred ult goes down, but still gets the damage done and makes the rethink. Was that MF?
I think that was MF.
Oh man, yeah, definitely. Oh wow, okay, MF coming through. I did not. It looked a little weird there. Okay.
The MF is also disgustingly strong.
Oh my god.
But I really do actually have to compliment Dangle for a second here. He did a lot to come back from that massive CS deficit. He's only died 2 times this game. Like he's really doing a good job of coming back from the situation that he was in. I just think it's a little bit, you just got too far behind.
Yeah.
It's not even that it was too late. It's just that the deficit was so big that no matter when you kind of come back from it, unless it's really early on, it's just too late.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of too late, right? We are at a point where if Winthrop get this next Baron, I think that's game. I think they close.
I do too. Especially if they ever see Kindred right now, they know that this mark is there for the Gromp. I'm not sure if that
we do see here the pinch onto the Mordekaiser. Yeah, Kindred coming
that's
through.
Baron. But that you just showed your Kindred in bot lane.
Yep, there it is. You do see all
Baron.
of Winthrop going up to Baron right now, and it is what 4 members trying to get one.
Oh, Mordekaiser still
no! That is not the engage you wanted to see. Yeah, Winthrop playing that smart.
And I like that they're not backing. They're not answering this push with a back because they just got the Baron. They can threaten so much more by just pushing. You send your Akali top lane, she can slow push that wave in, while you send your other 3 members who are still left alive with the Baron buff down mid lane to just kind of threaten something there. You're not necessarily looking for anything because you are at a team member deficit. Depending on who shows up, it could end up with 4v4 because I just remember Poppy also died. But like, I like that rotation there, where instead of reactively moving to the threat, they create a bigger threat.
Yeah, I mean, really efficient gameplay, right? Where they're not, they can get 2 steps ahead, but they're not really giving much. They're not having to react from an opportunity that they may have given Redefy. I mean, they're playing these very, very cleanly off the objective takes, and even starting the objective takes, right? Where it's like, oh, boom, Mordekaiser drew 4 members of Redefy down bot. That is very, very free Baron. And yeah, that's exactly what we saw just happen, where, you want to get the Mordekaiser quicker than that, I think, and you don't want to have a kill go down. I think that, Redefy was thinking that might have gone down a little bit easier than they were expecting. But if you're Winthrop, that's exactly the play they were looking for. And yeah, you see it. They may not be getting like 2 to 3 crazy, they may not be getting a huge push, but you did see them get that top lane. They are slowly working their advantage here and very confidently and strong.
Yeah, so just with the rest of this Baron buff, they definitely want to get these last 2 inhib turrets but now that the mid has respawned, that's also an objective. So they're doing kind of what they did before. They have multiple TPs, so they're sending those members in side lanes, and then they're just utilizing the remaining 3 for a more standard 1v1. Which I like. You know, you don't have that easy kind of movement. So they're establishing their laning protective correctly. But I also think Redefy is doing a much better job this game of defending against the Baron. They're defending much more adaptively in terms of where they're sending their members. They're not just all stacking in the lane where the 3 are and then hoping for the best. They're at the very least, you know, moving about the lanes to try to keep things cleared in an orderly manner. So I think they're playing this much better this game, even though I think it's a little bit dire of a situation for them, and I'm not quite sure if they have the gold to come out of it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely when your inhib is going down for a second time, you're in a hard spot. You're definitely in a tough situation. I definitely agree. I think that they are defending the push way better than they were before. I think they were just a little bit indecisive of how they wanted to defend last time. And yeah, I mean, yeah, taking that from game number 1, you know, definitely we're seeing this in this game where you see the same type of push, but it's definitely them not losing as much as before. And we are seeing some fights break out. It's not going to be enough for any picks, but Kindred did have to pop her ult down there in order to survive that Graves engagement. And yeah, now it's really just kind of defending what's left. You know, it's really have to worry about the Misfortune ult going down there. So much damage going down onto that Maokai, and it is just going to be full in. Poppy having to flash out. She is still in the Shadow Realm. Mordekaiser going in, just frontlining it. Definitely because the Hourglass has the safe getaway, and it's just going to be so much damage. You see the Q from the Misfortune follower, all that distance, Kai'Sa going down to it, and with Super switching, they're gonna threaten to end here.
Mordekaiser's gonna back heal.
Oh my!
The TPN
first hit from the Akali there. Kindred did not stand a chance. Meanwhile, Syndra also trying to get out, but Akali having the damage. And yeah, that is going to be the game here with those final skirmishes go down. That is going to be Winthrop University taking the series here with a 2-0 victory over Redefy Esports. That is going to be the series. Raptor, man, crazy strong play coming out from Winthrop. I mean, you saw control pretty much through the get-go there. If you were to call out a winning force for Winthrop, who are you giving that to?
That's hard because we saw a lot of coordination come out from the team, but I feel like I'm blanking on the summoner name, but the jungler for Winthrop definitely
Phosphorus.
Thank you, Phosphorus definitely stood out the most to me. He was just everywhere across the map, kind of when he needed to be there, at the time he needed to be there, where he needed to be. It's a very strong jungling coming out from him, with great overall play coming out from the team. I feel like the bot lane also, you know, didn't get a chance to shine as much as I feel like their stats show. This is a very solid game coming out from Winthrop's bot lane. It just wasn't the flop game.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it is strong. You get a good, definitely sense of coordination from Winthrop for sure. I think Redefy definitely clean things up and tighten things up in game number 2 from game number 1. So that's really good to see. You know, definitely, you know, teams, you know, taking what they have, come through and say, hey, we can grow. We're definitely not, you know, we're not out of it. And yeah, I mean, game number 2 is way closer than that game number 1. So great to see Redefy coming out, you know, definitely kind of picking up what they can and then you know, utilizing that. So hopefully that as we get into more games there, they can kind of clean that up. You know, definitely maybe look for a little bit more early aggression, or how to kind of carry that, transition that, because we did see the early aggression come out in game number 2 where they definitely had you know, some early leads there, just wasn't able to hold on to it. So yeah, seeing you know, hopefully seeing them take that and come together, kind of clean things up in the future will definitely be exciting to see.
Yeah, definitely a huge improvement coming out from game 2. I think, you know, if you see another game like game 1, you get a little bit worried for future weeks, but I think they showed a lot of signs of life and a lot of potential in terms of, ability to take this and learn from it. It's week one of a league. You're never making sweeping predictions off of this, and so losing to a team week one is always hard. You want to come off with that W, but I think you can learn from it. I think there's a lot of good learnings that you can have both from things like draft and how the game played out. So I think Redefy can take a lot of this and come out of it much stronger as a team. They have a very experienced coach that they're working with that I think will be able to work a lot with the team as the coming weeks come by, and I'm excited to see how that kind of shapes up.
Definitely, definitely. Well, this was yeah, like I said, only week number 1 of the Risen Esports tournament. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for more streams here during this game. We'll be excited to follow Redefy through their climb to try and make it into the league. So yeah, that is game or series number 1 here tonight for you guys. Again, it is Mystic Asian and Photography Raptor coming at you guys. Looking to see you guys again here. We love seeing all the community engagement in chat and everything like that. Definitely love seeing the support for all the teams and everything. So yeah, thanks guys for joining us tonight, and we'll catch you next time.